It feels like everywhere you look these days, the cost of just about everything is going up.
Mhm.
And food, especially, well, it can feel like it's taking a bigger and bigger bite out of our wallets. You probably feel it wherever you are listening right now.
Absolutely. It's a global thing, really, but it presents this particularly fascinating paradox in a place like Singapore.
Right. Famous for its food scene.
Exactly. But the Institute of Policy Studies, they did this report in 2023, the Makan Index 2.0. Makan means eat in Malay.
Oh, okay.
And they found the average daily cost for eating out, like 3 meals, is around 17 Singapore dollars. Lunch average about $6.01, dinner $6.20.
So not super cheap on average.
Not at all. And overall prices for like deli food, which includes hawker stuff, jumped 6.1% in 2023.
Wow.
That's the highest hike since 2008. And drinks, even higher, up 6.9%.
Okay, so those numbers definitely paint a picture. Costs are rising, clearly.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting, because despite all that, you can still find meals in Singapore for less than $3.
It's amazing, isn't it?
I mean, we're talking 0 to 30 cents soy milk, or like $1.90 for chicken rice, or $2.50 for a bowl of mi hoon kueh, the hand-torn noodle soup. How is that even possible today? It kind of defies logic.
It really does. And that's precisely what we want to dig into today.
Right.
Our mission here is to unpack these incredible stories. The hawkers behind these almost unbelievably low prices. We'll look at their strategies, what motivates them, what it actually takes to survive, maybe even thrive, selling food so affordably.
Yeah, we're drawing on some insights from excerpts, right?
Yeah.
From a YouTube video transcript that looked at these specific hawkers.
Exactly. It profiles them really well.
Okay, so let's set the scene again. Rising costs, that 6.1% jump in deli food prices in 2023 is pretty significant. So the big question is just how? How do some hawkers manage 0 to 30 cents here, $1.90 there, when the average meal costs way more? Making a profit seems, well, near impossible.
It does seem that way, doesn't it? And that's why these stories are just so compelling. Let's start with our first case study. Cai Mei Qin. She's 60, and she's been selling me hoon kueh at Baydock Block 216 Food Center for 20 years.
2 decades, and her dedication. Honestly, it's something else. She and her son start prepping at 3:30 a.m. every single day.
3:30 a.m. Wow.
Diners are already showing up by 4:30 a.m., and by 7 a.m. there's a long queue forming, all for her $2.50 bowl of mi hoon kueh. That's with meat and veggies, just no egg. I mean, 3:30 a.m. makes my early morning coffee feel like I'm sleeping in.
It's an incredible level of commitment, and what's really striking is why she keeps that price, her motivation.
What does she say about that?
She specifically says she offers the $2.50 option because there are more elderly people in her area.
Yeah.
She wants to make sure they can afford a meal and maybe even have like $1 left over for coffee.
That's really thoughtful.
It is. And she also mentioned it's good for kids who don't eat a huge amount, so it prevents waste. She seems to genuinely think about the financial struggles people face, like young people supporting families, cars, houses, kids.
So it's clearly driven by more than just profit. But okay, beyond that compassion, what are the hard business realities? How does she actually make it work at $2.50?
Well, she tries to do basically everything herself.
Okay, so keeping labor costs down.
Right. That helps with quality control, too, she says. But the challenge is her stall rent. It's government set, but it's still around $2,000 a month.
Oof, that's not insignificant.
No. And she says the money they make is barely enough to cover wages for 2 people, herself and her son. She literally calls it just to make a living. Definitely not getting rich.
And what about the future? She's getting older.
Yeah, she mentioned wanting to kind of half retire and half work. Her son helps, which is great, but apparently he's reluctant to take it over completely. Says the work is just too hard.
I can imagine.
And she points out, if she tried to hire outside help, it's really difficult, and the wages are high. So it really highlights how personal this whole operation is.
It really does. And what do the customers think?
Oh, the feedback confirms the value. People say it's very cheap and very reasonable. Some even call it the cheapest price in that whole hawker center. And older customers especially seem to appreciate the portion size, saying it's just right, no food waste. That connection she has is really clear.
Okay, so that's mi hoon kueh. Now let's shift gears to another, maybe even more astonishing example. One that's held its price for way longer. Kee Drinks at Kovan Hugang Market and Food Center, they sell soymilk for 30 cents.
30 cents. And that specific price hasn't changed since 1985. 40 years.
40 years. How on earth? I mean, are they just doing it completely out of goodwill, or is there some like secret operational trick, something that defies basic economics?
Well, it seems to be a mix of factors, almost like a perfect storm of unique circumstances that allow it.
Okay, like what?
First, their rent. It's incredibly cheap, only $200 a month.
200. Wow. Okay. That's a massive difference from $2,000.
Huge difference. Also, the owners, they don't have children, so no major financial burden from dependents. And crucially, they choose not to hire any workers. Again, saving on wages.
Right. And you mentioned an operational quirk.
Yes, this is quite specific. They use a special insulated bucket for cooking the soy milk. And apparently, this saves them a significant amount on their gas bills.
Huh. An insulated bucket. Clever. But still, ingredients must cost more now than in 1985, right? Even with low overheads.
You'd think so, absolutely. And this is where relationships come in. They have a very loyal, long-term supplier.
Oh, okay.
And this supplier gives them discounts. They believe it's because they've been buying from him since day one, never switched. They feel he gives them a better price out of, appreciation for that loyalty over decades.
It really shows the power of those old school business ties. Trust and partnership.
Definitely.
So, like Cai Mei Qin, it sounds like their motivation isn't purely financial either.
Not at all. They explicitly state their motivation. They see selling so cheaply as a good deed.
A good deed.
Yep, to help poorer people. They even mention that some people call them stupid for not raising prices, but they don't mind. They say, it's our business, our choice.
Wow. That commitment to community again, it's a strong theme.
It really is. And you see the legacy of it. They shared this lovely story about customers who've been drinking their soy milk for, 3 generations.
That's
And it's not just locals. Apparently, a tourist from the UK found their 0.50 cents large cup, so even the large is cheap. He found it very cheap compared to the UK and said the quality was very good.
Okay, incredible story. Let's look at our third case study. In Nguan Express 88 chicken rice, they offer a plate for just $1.90. Now this one's interesting because the price actually came down right.
That's right. It wasn't always $1 a night. They made a really strategic move. They used to be in Angmo Kio Hub, but they relocated to Block 704, Angmo Kio Avenue 8.
And that move was key.
Absolutely. It resulted in a huge 30% reduction in their rent. And that rent saving allowed the boss to slash the price of chicken rice from $3.80 all the way down to $1.90.
Wow, half price. Almost exactly.
Right.
So what's the business model there? How do they make $1.90 work?
It seems to be all about volume. Their strategy is clearly small profits but quick turnover.
Okay.
They sell between 500 and 600 plates a day. That sheer volume is how they compensate for, the tiny profit margin on each plate.
500 to 600 plates. That's a lot of chicken rice.
Right.
And they have other lean strategies too.
Yeah, they made a big decision to be a takeout-only stall.
Ah, no dine-in.
Exactly. And that dramatically lowers their overall costs. Think about it, no dishwashing expenses. That alone saves a lot on water, labor, detergent, all that stuff.
Good point. What about ingredients? Chicken prices, rice prices, they fluctuate. How do they manage that?
They're quite proactive there, too. They actually import their own goods directly.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and they cooperate really closely with their suppliers to keep those raw material costs stable. They apparently expect only about a 10% increase maximum, so that direct control gives them a buffer against market swings.
And they've actually committed to this price.
They have. It's pretty remarkable. They have a contractual commitment not to increase prices for at least the next 3 years. It's tied to their rent contract.
Wow.
Their stated goal, they said, is for people to be able to afford to eat their food every single day. They don't want people spending $4 or $5 if they can get it for $1.90. It's all about accessibility.
And is it working? Is that low price bringing people in?
Definitely seems like it. They mentioned happy customers sharing about it on Facebook, and that's brought in lots of different people. Even foreign visitors, friends from Hong Kong and Japan apparently come just to try it because they heard about the price and the quality.
That word of mouth, amplified by social media.
Yeah.
Powerful stuff.
So when we look at all 3 of these examples, Cai Mei Qin's Mei Hoon Q, Sun Kee's soy milk, Nguan Express's chicken rice, you start to see these common threads, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like this specific recipe, this alchemy that lets them operate at these price points.
Not just one thing.
No, it's a mix. And what seems really foundational, almost like a prerequisite, is low rent. It kept coming up.
Definitely. It appears to be absolutely critical for these extremely affordable prices. Sun Kee Drinks $200 a month, Nguan Express 88, that 30% rent cut enabled the price drop. Even Cai Mei Qin, her $2,000 rent is a struggle, suggesting anything higher would make her $2.50 price impossible.
So low rent is the base. Then layer on top of that the sheer dedication of the owners.
Immense personal effort. We talked about Cai Mei Qin's 3:30 a.m. starts, doing everything herself. Kee Drinks, the owners do it all, no staff. It's long hours, a really hands-on approach. They are the business, pretty much.
They embody the labor, the quality control, the service, all of it.
And that directly ties into strategic cost control, doesn't it? Doing it themselves avoids staff costs.
Right. And we saw other strategies too.
Yeah, the specialized equipment, like Kee's insulated bucket saving gas.
The high volume, low margin model for the chicken rice.
Nguan Express going takeout only to cut dishwashing costs.
And those strong supplier relationships, or even importing directly, like Nguan Express does.
Exactly. They're finding ways to shave off costs everywhere they possibly can. It's very deliberate.
But the thread that really ties it all together, for me at least, is something beyond the numbers. It's the motivation, the heart behind it.
You're absolutely right. That came through so strongly in all stories. It's this deep sense of care for the diners, this desire to help the community. They understand people's financial struggles.
Yeah.
Cai Mei Qin explicitly pricing for the elderly and young families, Kee calling it a good deed for poorer people. They often say it's just to make a living, not about getting rich. That human element, that compassion, it's fundamental to how they operate.
It feels like a form of maybe community service almost wrapped up in a business model.
Kind of like social entrepreneurship driven by empathy.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, our listener? This deep dive, I think, has shown this really fascinating mix of super pragmatic business decisions,
Very practical.
but also this really profound community spirit. And it's that combination that allows these hawkers to offer such incredible value. These are just cheap meals. They feel like testaments to dedication, to care, often against the odds, especially with inflation.
It really makes you reflect, doesn't it, on how value is truly created, how businesses can adapt maybe in unexpected ways to rising costs. And it highlights that human element in commerce that we often overlook. It's a lesson in resilience, definitely, but also in community focus.
Absolutely. And maybe a final thought for you to take away. As Singapore's hawker culture continues to evolve and these pioneers, these amazing individuals get older, what happens if these incredibly affordable, compassion-driven options become rarer? What's the impact on communities then?
Yeah, and what does it truly mean to offer value in today's world? Is it just the price tag? Or is it something more, something tied to the heart and dedication we've been talking about?
Something definitely worth thinking about.